Hello, aren't these beautiful? More free flowers, just from putting out a wish, a desire, and letting the universe respond. In this reality, you have a series of mirrors. The mirrors will show you various reflections. Some of them will be, well, it's right across the entire aspect. So some people you will encounter will basically give you a reflection of exactly how not to be. Others will give you a reflection of something to aspire to. They're all things to observe, all lessons for us all, and a whole spectrum in between, of course. Ken Wheeler on Theora Apotheosis channel has shown from two brilliant perspectives that the centre of the magnet, there is no magnetism, and also look at the when you pull the plug out the bath and all the water goes, you've got the vortex, but there's nothing in the middle of it. There's nothing in the middle of an eye of a storm. The storm goes on all around, but of course we create the world around us. So I'm sure if you look externally, you'll see there's a storm. 9 and 1 and 1 has just been played out as a 919, and of course that's 2 days before the equinox. This is an overriding message across many things. Niven's latest 2 videos, Niven channel, I'll put the links in for this, what Adrienne Elise is showing with the astrology, and square Peg Divergent is showing as well, and just basically the same thing. The mirrors, it's actually a very brilliant analogy to when you look at technology, how it's like throwing a ball and it reaches a sort of 0 point where it no longer travels upward and it loses energy, and then it becomes a sort of stagnant tipping point, and then of course it drops off. It was put across that technology would give humanity freedom, and it certainly has done that. Just look at the number of redundancies, the number of people that are homeless in the civilized world. Plenty of time on their hands thanks to technology, but has it really benefited them? You have a thing in the material realm called B&B, bed and breakfast. But of course things are always reversed, because you have the rest followed by the food. But in the spiritual sense, it's the opposite. You have the food, and then you have the period of rest in which to digest what has just happened. I don't wish to put this across in a negative way, but if you suddenly find yourself vibrating at a much higher level, be aware that the universe will respond at that same level. Now, if you see things only from a material perspective, it may look quite horrendous. Potentially, you could be shown that you are indestructible. And against all odds, a miracle has happened because you have survived. So see things from the spiritual perspective, see things in balance across the two, because we are at the equinox almost, the balance. This is being played out very much in the material at the moment, this change. I can feel it very strongly in nature, that nature is geared up. We are going through a transformation period. It looks like we're going into winter, in a period of unrest and a period of darkness, a period of uncertainty. But why should we have the fear of the unknown when it has been shown over and over to me personally that there is nothing to fear about the unknown? It somehow just works out. I mean, these flowers are a perfect example of that. It's something that has manifested. It's the universe has responded. It is purely down to magnetics, dielectric and magnetics. And what you generate and how you feel inside at your very core, and then what you project out, will determine what comes back. Following on from the video yesterday with the beautiful going out into nature with the energy flow tribe, I sort of initiated, sort of led by example, not planned or anything. I went barefoot into that water in the river. So I'm grounding and also in water, and boy, is that energizing, refreshing. If you haven't tried it, go for it. There was a time where I would have dipped a barefoot in the water and said, "Youch, that's cold." There is still the cold sensation, but the detachment also brings a new feeling, a new understanding, a new appreciation of at an energetic level rather than at a purely sensational reaction level. It's something worth doing, and I have to admit, I fell off a little bit. I was initially in shock at seeing no insects, but subsequently today and what day was it? Saturday, right in the middle of a town where there's virtually no sort of flowers or anything, and I've got this singular lone bee that's landing on my arm, landing on my hand, reassuring me, showing me that nature is just going through a cycle. It is very aware of what is being played out in this reality. And it is gearing up, and have no fear that nature is on our side. We are co-creators. If you are coming from the heart, then you will automatically and naturally want to be in harmony with nature. So nature will respond. It knows that you are not having any intentions of harming it. Because intention is aim. It sits midway between the I am and the Maya being this world of illusions, this material realm, where things come out backwards. But it's simplicity itself, really. Just think of the yin-yang symbol. You're sitting on that line, that fine line between the white and the dark. And you need both. You need that duality perception in this reality. And of course, when it's from the heart, it just opens up into something truly spectacular. A spiritual wealth that heavily outweighs any material wealth in ways that can't even really be put into words, can't be quantified, can't be even labelled, really. It's like at that centre of that vortex with the water. Everything comes from nothing. The language lessons of the heart, right at the very centre of the heart, is this tiniest pinprick of potential. It's the difference between the acorn and the oak tree. But one becomes the other. It is a continuous cycle in this natural realm of growth and going through the seasons and then decay and then going back to earth and then creating a transformed, transmuted life and giving life to something else, freely giving. It's a beautiful cycle. It's as easy as breathing. But of course we have this interference pattern over the top of it, and encouraged by the system programming, and again, it comes back to that mirror. Do you see a bed and breakfast, or do you see boundaries and balance? Because that's very important, to have boundaries, because if you're all giving, there is plenty out there that will be drawn and just want to take. So you have to have the boundaries and the balance, and stay in the balance between the two. It's all reciprocal after all. So as things stand in a material perspective only, I face a very uncertain future, but because I can see it from the spiritual side, it's actually something spectacular and exciting, so watch this space. I feel that it won't be long before I'll be bringing you a very different video, with a very positive message, and it's like, how much more proof do you need? But I can only do it from the perspective of experience, so I have to go through it first. So we'll see where this goes, and hopefully just by showing these pictures of these beautiful flowers, and there's all sorts of colours in here, and of course using a bit of the material, it's an old plastic milk carton, but rather than just consign it to a landfill site, it's like I can find another use for that, and have it working in harmony rather than against. Personally, I would rather these flowers were in their natural growing states rather than this being cut, but rather than see them go to waste, I will gladly accept flowers from a food bank. It may be an insurance write-off and a bit of PR, but I still appreciate it, and hopefully by sharing this image you can appreciate it too, and hopefully it's given you an upward lift of spirituality. While we're here, look, I'll just give you a little guided tour. I had a tidy up, and so we've got the hobbies, if you want to call them that, consist of just natural things, feathers freely given, rocks that I've just found, toilet rolls that get recycled to put the feathers in, and makes an interesting display. And of course with rocks you can turn them up the other way and you can have a completely different picture. One of the best ones is this one. Now when that's in the sunlight you get all this like twinkling, almost like the night sky. I wonder if we can actually do that. I don't know if we're going to get the effect with the camera, but it's full of crystals, and of course I can turn it up either way and get a completely different picture, and of course it's freely given from nature. And if I have to abandon it or give it back to Earth, then well, it will eventually end up back in Earth anyway. It's part of this realm. Nothing is added and nothing is taken away. Tutankhamun tried that one. If you go with that story, you can't take it with you. But there is a spiritual wealth to be found, and there is a beauty to be found, and you can meet a balance point. See, we even use like a plastic salad container, reuse it to put the smaller feathers in. Nothing wasted. And I get a lot of satisfaction and pleasure out of all these things. And they're natural and freely given. And it's a beautiful, beautiful world if you choose to see that side of it. Or you can see the negative side of it. That is your free will. But from my experience, I would look for the spiritual wealth and the beauty that can be found quite easily. And of course, can share that out with others as well. Those that are on the same vibration, those that are on the same frequency, we can all help each other up. We all have down days, we all have up days, but it's getting that nice sort of even sort of balance between the two. So the intention of this video, I hope it has given you an uplifting feeling, maybe inspired you, maybe even given you a new perspective on this reality and this whole experience. That's what we're here for, to have an experience. What experience you have will depend on how you feel about things and where you're paying your attention. So, and of course, spend your time wisely. Don't focus on negatives, don't focus on fears, because fear feeds fear, but love lives life. Up to you what you do, what you choose to look at. Love to you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful day or night, depending on wherever you are in the world. I wish you a wonderful day. Ta-ta for now.